Good morning, everyone. To the Cute for Teams office hours. I'm your host, Ricardo Wilkins. Glad to see you again this week. If you haven't already, feel free to use the Q&A throughout our next half hour to put any questions you may have about Teams, and we will chat it up. So yes, use your Q&A on your left-hand side, right-hand side. I can't remember which one it is. But glad to see you again here, either live or virtual. While you ponder your questions, I suspect you would like me to geek out on something related to Teams, and I am happy to oblige. But feel free to put questions in, especially if you are one of the folks that have noticed dynamic views starting to pop up in Teams. What are dynamic views, Ricardo? You ask. Well, that's a good question. And in fact, do I have a good way to show it without getting a bunch of people in with video? Maybe not, but let me try. But before I do that, let me see a question asking if Microsoft Viva will be available in Teams in the GCC. And if yes, the time frame and any additional costs. So, you know, that's a TBD. So last I heard, I mean, it's a little ways out. I think the best estimate I heard was late in the calendar year. This calendar year 2021 for GCC. And then it's always hard to tell how it will, you know, be implemented. I believe there's several parts to Viva, but in general, I believe, yes, it would be a skew, a different cost or an additional cost. So it's a hard question to answer definitively now, but the more informal answer is yes, not soon. You know, I would say, you know, it's not next quarter or anything. If anything, we're looking at end of the year. So hopefully that helps. I guess what, you know, I can say that is fortunate is, you know, I've not heard no, you know, so that's a good thing. But definitely got a ways out for that. So good question about Viva. The dynamic views are out, and essentially several things are out really. But you know, what that does is give us a little more flexibility in the views that we see when people are in a meeting. So that's something to check out. And let me just see if I can at least simulate a little bit of that. Let me make this a little bigger here. Because one question would be, how do I know if it's rolled out to my tenant yet? One telltale sign when you get into a meeting is to look in your three dots here and gallery at top will kind of let you know that it's there. Because what that's basically allowing you to do is we're used to our thumbnails being at the bottom. Now they can be at the top. They can be at the side. In some ways, it depends on the zoom and or the size of your window. So that's what it would really take me getting a bunch of other camera users in here to really show that. But let me see if I can throw a couple of people in here and maybe get something going here. If I and a question also in the chat elaborating on what Viva is. Let me see. Yep, let me see if I can do a good way of describing that, because there are several components to Viva. So obviously you can see we have a ton of marketing material, if you do want to kind of see what is Viva, but you can kind of see here several different flavors of Viva. If I were to describe it in a kind of a 30-second elevator pitch here, Viva topics, helping, it's really about customer engagement using Teams. So Viva topics helping to bring relevant information to the user, kind of at their fingertips, connecting users with, the communications that you're putting out as an organization, helping them with their skilling through things like Viva Learning, and then insights, wellness, so again, the Ricardo version at the 10,000 foot view, all the things that are trying to really empower our end users in our organization right at the fingertips in Teams where we all, live, throughout the day, everything from wellness to learning to comms to knowledge management. It's like what would be my 30-second unscripted, unrehearsed description of it. But again, as you can see, we got great materials out there for learning more about that. A ton of info out there. I could probably explain it much better than I just did. So yes, I see the comment, knowledge management. Yep, be a good way to describe that. So again, not soon for GCC, but one day. Awesome. Let's see here. Good questions there. I think I was talking about dynamic views, trying to bring some, and again, I'm not trying to force us into talking about dynamic views. Keep the questions coming on any topic. This is more just filling the space while you think of new questions. But let me bring Deborah in here. Where's Deborah? There she is. Did I get her in there? Deborah accepts. She comes in, and then my friend Nestor. Request to join. Nestor joins. So already, again, if you're used to being in Teams meetings, as I think you are if you're here in this session, you can see a little bit of difference here. Nice big circles for our users here. Let me go and share some content. I think that'll help show some things here too. Let's share this guy. So always remember, you're sharing. You don't have to settle for this view where I can't see anything from the meeting. I just click right in the middle of the meeting. I get my whole Teams view back. This sharing isn't going to show me what I wanted. Let me, I should have kept it because I could have went over to their view. Anyway, let me share some PowerPoint. Share this guy here. So this is giving us a good view of a couple things. One is the presentation or presenter view of SharePoint, right? So I've shown a SharePoint. I can see all of the thumbnails of my different slides. I can see the notes if there were any, all while seeing the presenters, the meeting chat, and so forth. But this does give us a good way of seeing some of the new experience, right? So when I don't have any chatter or participant panel open, I get these big, nice thumbnails over here of the people. So again, we're kind of used to them being down at the bottom, nice and big at the top. And certainly as more people would be in this, they would get smaller. Eventually one of them would kind of show, +3, +4, based on how I'm right now, I'm changing the zoom by holding down control and using my mouse wheel. If there were a lot of people in this meeting, I could see more thumbnails by kind of taking that approach. So, that's something as well. But yeah, we've got them here on the side. If I did have demo users where I could turn video on, we would see this area showing, nice big thumbnails of the video um, as well. And, as I change things around, for instance, if I go a little smaller, you see those side thumbnails now went to the side. Again, if this was video, they would be video up there. And so that's what that gallery at top, feature is about. Even my thumbnail here would be video if I had video in this demo environment. So this is a little bit of a view. Again, this would be a much nicer demo if I had three or 10 active video feeds going here, but gives you a little flavor for the difference. And pinning, as you can see here, again, it looks better if this was video, but I just pinned Deborah. She got a little bit bigger. This looks really great when they're video, and especially if I've just pinned the person speaking. They've got this nice big view on the side, bigger than the rest of the thumbnail, so I can see the person speaking as well as see their content. And particularly if that's a ASL interpreter, then that's going to be great to get a nice big thumbnail of the one that's doing sign language during the meeting. You can see that nice and clear. So so don't forget about the power of pinning, especially now in the world of dynamic views. I can certainly spotlight as well. So good stuff there. In terms of different views. We still have, can't show it because I don't have enough people, but we still have large gallery, together mode, all those kind of things. But for a lot of folks, and especially myself, I'm in meetings all the time. This is a welcome addition. It really just shows videos in a nice, new, refreshing way. Again, as you tweak zooms and whatnot and tweak the size of this window, it can really get interesting. So I've liked it so far. Is there a way to let's see, okay, so we got some questions here. I'll kind of pause on that piece. Is there a setting that could prevent the minimizing of the meeting when sharing the screen if you have multiple monitors? So I think what you're asking there, just like we saw when I started presenting, I got that little thumbnail down at the bottom. I haven't seen a setting to change that. I've just learned to really, whenever you minimize your meeting window, it's going to go down there like that. Likely to make sure you don't miss it. I mean, if it minimized completely like any other window would, you might forget that you're actually in a meeting. So I kind of like that. But I haven't seen any setting to kind of take away that auto minimizing piece there. But it is one click away from coming right back. And then another question about merging conversation threads. Like if I've got a private chat, schedule a meeting from within the chat, we meet, we throw a document into the meeting chat, we end our meeting and resume chatting in our original thread. Days pass and we want to refer back to the document. We don't remember where we uploaded it. So the short answer right now, really, with merging conversations, there's no easy button for, I'll leave this open, but go back to Teams here. No easy button for taking any particular, thread of conversation and just kind of throwing it into another per se. However, to the question of we put a document somewhere and we don't remember where we uploaded it, I could speak to that a little bit in that one, I'd say, remember the power of search, right? So I don't remember the document. Let's say I didn't even remember the document name at all. I think my first stop would be the files area, because here I've got this recent tab. So if it is relatively recent, I would hope it would show up somewhere at the top of my list in terms of modified, and then I would get its location over here. or maybe I know, maybe I just kind of search by teams. I guess to your question, you don't know where it was. So recent would be the first place I'd start. I think the next place I'd start, if I knew anything about it, like let's say I knew it was Mark 8, or had that word in it, then I'm going to do that search. If I knew it was PowerPoint, I might, filter it by PowerPoint. If I knew who created it, I could filter by that person if it was me or someone else. Outside of search, I could also look at, again, if I knew the other person, let's say it was Deborah that I think did that document, right? I could go to her chat, and then if she shared it with me in a private chat, it would be here. But I would probably go to her activity. This is going to show me everything Deborah's been doing in the teams that we are common in. And so if she, posted something about that document or something here, I would see that and then could go straight to that particular post. So these are just all ways that I would try to find a document that I know I worked on recently, but not quite sure where it is. So search, activity for the person, things like that. But the short answer is no, there's not a way to take a particular thread and kind of merge it with another. What I have done, maybe this is a little life hack, because these chats here, sometimes, so I do a lot of chats where I will start up a new chat and name it first, so that it's kind of clear as that for a particular person I'm talking about a particular topic. And if I'm afraid of that conversation kind of getting lost, one, I could pin it, but I've certainly pinned enough that I hit my limit on pins, and now what do? My little hack is going into Teams in the browser. That makes sense. Go to Teams in the browser, because at least in the browser, when I hit a chat, every chat that I go to, if you look up here, it's got its own unique URL. And I will take that, sometimes bookmark it, sometimes I'll copy it to OneNote. So that way, this random conversation from a year ago, which may have even fallen out of my recents list, I can get to it through its URL. So if I were to take this, for instance, and pop it into OneNote here, right? Paste that, and Edge is giving me that nice titling for it. So all is well. This could be part of other notes, and then when I'm ready, to go back to it, it would open up, in the browser, but at least it takes me right back there. So that's a little hack. If you had a bunch of separate threads that maybe you were trying to keep related as well. I suspect some of our partners have other ways of organizing content like that, but the layman's hack, maybe that's been my approach. So hopefully that helps. Good stuff. While I am here in this meeting, again, dynamic views and all that stuff, 1,000-way meetings is now also in the wild. I don't know if you've been able to experience that and been in a meeting large enough to go past the 300, that was the cap previously. But we're in large meetings, and because of that, if you're a meeting organizer, don't forget you've got controls that help manage that. I'm not sure if we talked about this last week or not, but again, if this meeting was 1,000 people, you might want to disable mics, you might want to disable cameras, might even want to disable the chat if you think things are going to get out of control with that many people. So yeah, these are and at least to me, these are three, key features now that we're in this world of, extra large meetings, managing these things. And as I always remind folks, these meeting options, luckily and thankfully, they're real time. So I may start the meeting with everything turned on, meetings getting out of control. At any time, I can basically close up that lobby or open it up, start turning off mics and cameras and just hit save, and it will apply, in that moment. So for instance, if I were to turn these things off, hit save, we'll see over here, Deborah and oops, actually, and I also need to turn everybody into attendees. So that's an important one too. Now made everyone an attendee. You can even see up here in the dynamic view, their mics and cameras are disabled. Come over here, you've been changed to an attendee, and mics and cameras disabled. So even during the session. So that's a little, especially for a meeting organizer. I mean, we've always had the mute all button, but that's even more powerful. And I can, change that for a particular person, right? So yes, they're still an attendee, but I will allow Deborah's mic now, maybe she's raised her hand, even though she's still an attendee, and overall I have disabled mics. I am enabling it, for her. You can see she's back in business there. All right, I think I'm in Nestor here. So 1,000-way meetings and the features that help support 1,000-way meetings. So yeah, play with dynamic views, and by play with it again, I mean play with zooming in and out, play with the size of the window, all those kind of things. If you were trying to get different ways to see the content or the participants in the session. Okay. Awesome. And question window is all clear. Might be a good place to stop for this week, unless I see some more questions pile in. But enjoy dynamic view and 1,000-way meetings, and more to come. Are to come in the future. All right. If there's nothing else, I can give you 5 or 6 minutes back. So we'll be here again next week. Come with your questions, and we'll chat it up. All right. All right. Well, you guys have a good one. I'll watch the Q&A for a little bit afterwards, but otherwise I'll let you go. Have a good one.